Hi, hi, Mark Power here again, your stuttering specialist. And today I'd like to talk about stuttering and public speaking. One of the greatest fears that I had was speaking before an audience. And as I was growing up, I had no clue about what to do about it. As soon as I got up, if I was going to do a book report in school or talk before a group of people anywhere, I was in panic mode. I really wasn't even able to think. I've described this as imagine a freight train coming down the tracks and bounding down upon you and getting closer and closer and louder. That's how I would feel when I got up to do public speaking. And it just kind of overwhelmed my senses to a point where I almost felt like I was going to black out. So, you know that if you're a person who stutters, usually when you're alone, you don't stutter. So it really has to do with, something has to do with having other people witness you talking or having other people in the room. And the more people in the room, the harder it is. And I think the more complex the topic is, the harder it is. But also, if you don't have a lot of good preparation, it's going to be a lot harder. So here are some tips I have. If you do have a public speaking situation and you want to get through it as best you can. First of all, I would suggest planning in detail. Know exactly what you're going to say. I don't think you need to write a whole script out and try to read it. That might cause other problems because you're limiting yourself to certain words. But you should plan by doing some bullet points for the main ideas and go right through what you're going to say with topics. And you can get as detailed as you want with that. But as long as you have enough details in there so you know where you're going, and you can talk extemporaneously most of the time, but you can always refer back to the bullet points. So then you're really not thinking about the stuttering as much as you're thinking about how you're going to express this next point. Also, another idea is before you get up and do the speech, if you have an opportunity, and you usually do, rehearse. And as you're rehearsing, plan how you're going to say it. You should be planning rather than going along and talking and keeping on going without any pauses and getting kind of mixed up and having your voice go off and on a lot. Try planning short phrases of about 3 to 5 syllables or 3 to 4 words. And in that way, you know what the words are that you're going to say each time you plan a phrase. So a couple of things happen there. You can keep your voice on stronger because there are no interruptions between the words. Your brain knows exactly what the words are. And keeping your voice on is one of the best ways to resolve a stuttering. King George did this in the movie The King's Speech. If you've seen that, towards the end, his speech therapist showed him how to take his speech that was written for him and put little slash marks in it every 3 or 4 words. So King George would go phrase by phrase, and he'd be prepared for each phrase, rather than trying to do a long sentence where he would probably not know what the next words were and probably turn his voice on and off and not keep it on. So it's important to roll your voice all through the phrase. We call that continuous voicing or continuous phonation. And you really can't do that if your brain doesn't know exactly what the words are. Also, the side benefit of this is your audience hears something that's clearly presented and you're not just rambling all over the place. In order to plan these phrases, though, you need to give yourself permission to pause as long as you need to plan the next phrase. Now, people who stutter generally don't want to have silences because they know that that might be interpreted as a block. You can't get it out. But if you just pause before each phrase, it sounds like you're really thinking about what you're saying, which is a positive thing that the audience will pick up. So, in essence, you're focusing on the speech and not the audience. Fill your mind up with how you're going to present this, how you're going to use your voice, and present that rather than just stand up before the audience and look at them and start to panic. I found it's also useful when I was a severe stutterer to start out talking about my stuttering. And some therapists call that advertising. It's a good way to lower the anxiety temperature of not only your audience, but yourself. So it's out there. You might say, I'm going to stutter some, and if you hang in there with me, I'm sure I can get it all out. Give me a little time here. Just make a joke about it. So, when I was in high school, a therapist suggested this, and I did advertise my stuttering and just came out with it before I gave my speech, and it really reduced the pressure a lot. As a matter of fact, afterwards, the speech was about ancient history, but afterwards people asked me a lot about my stuttering and were very curious and about the therapy, and I was able to share my experiences. So, most people, when you do advertise that, they realize it's a really brave thing to do. And now they know what you've been going through your whole life, and they tend to have more respect for you. That's what I found anyway. And there are many people that stutter that do very well. In Toastmasters, where people give speeches in a club atmosphere, they've won a lot of awards, and they're not trying not to stutter. They use the stuttering and just move right through, and people are really appreciative of the courage that they have to do something like this. So these are all temporary things you might do if you're not in treatment or don't have any ways to resolve your stuttering. Much better way is to learn a different way of speaking that totally replaces your stuttering. You can do that. There are programs that are effective now. The program that I use replaces all of your stuttered speech with some speech where you keep your voice on more and learn how to do this technique. The way you do it is very interesting. You actually see how your voice is working and make modifications and learn a way to talk without stuttering. This happens because you wear a throat microphone just during an hour of treatment a day, and that sends your voice visually back to an app on your cell phone where you can see your voice and hear it. So you can make changes and make them permanent. Then you take the throat microphone off, start using your speech in all your speaking situations without it, starting with easy situations where you're successful, gradually build it up to the hardest speaking situations you have in your life. So, if you're interested, get in touch with me, watch some more videos. I'm enrolling new patients this month. I only enroll a new patient every 2 weeks, so scheduling can get kind of busy, but let me know if I can help. Thanks a lot. Bye. Mark Power here, and if you like this video, then don't forget to like and subscribe for more helpful videos like this one. Also, be sure to hit the share button and leave us a comment below so that others can benefit from it as well. I'll be recording a lot more helpful videos like this one to help you overcome your stuttering. And if you'd like to be notified, then click on the bell icon below.